Hey, Dave Tach.
Hey, Russ, Frushtick.
Today we're going to be playing Into the Breach, which is a dope new PC game that came out just today, actually. It is from the makers of FTL, and I wanted to show you some strategies because it's a little overwhelming if you're just getting started, so I thought we'd walk through some of it.
The people who made FTL made another overwhelming game.
Indeed. This one's a little less overwhelming, but still kind of overwhelming. So this is a mech turn-based strategy game. And we're going to start out. The idea is to defend buildings from invading aliens here, and we're going to start with the very first squad that you start out with. It's this team of 3. So we've got kind of a tank dude on the bottom there, a mech punching guy who's got a shield there, and an artillery ranged guy. And I should mention I'm playing this on easy just because it'll go faster and it'll be easier to keep track of. But obviously, as you increase difficulty, more enemies gets a lot harder, but hopefully on easy mode, it should be easy to explain what's going on.
Right.
Now, in each of these maps, we've got objectives. So in this case, one of the bonus objectives you can see there is that I should not kill I guess he's yellow or maybe a bright green. We got to keep that guy alive, which is tricky because he has my walker mech or my punching mech kind of trapped. So we're going to explore one of the tactics, which is pushing. Positioning is very important there, so I use my artillery to kind of shove him over. And now, unfortunately, he's attacking my tank, so I got to move my tank. Right, I got to move my tank out of the way. And as you can see, all this is about kind of rearranging the battlefield to ensure that nothing befalls either your guys or the buildings, which are very important. The buildings essentially represent your health. You can see the power grid at the upper left there. Mm-hmm. That's essentially your health. So if a building goes down, you're going to see that ticking down, and if you lose all of them, it's essentially game over. So we've got our tank dude is trapped there, so I'm going to shove this guy into the water. Actually, he only has 1 health, so he's going to die right from the jump.
It's like you made a plan, and then instantly it went to hell.
Exactly. Well, no, it's okay. So in this case, if he had more health, he would have died in the water, but in this case, he had no health whatsoever. But once again, our friendly, volatile Vec there, the alien, is trapping my good old punching dude. So we got to figure out a way to remove him from the equation. Unfortunately, we've got a pincer artillery guy on the left there, kind of on the bottom. And you can see that arrow. He's sort of attacking those buildings. So I need to figure out a way to get out of this situation without losing any building damage or taking damage on my walker, on my, they're called the Prime mechs, because they look like Optimus Prime, if I had to guess.
Gotcha.
So it's a tricky one, and I take a few minutes kind of rearranging and seeing what all the situations are like. This artillery guy is good at pushing, so hopefully we're going to use him to kind of push them somewhere. The problem is if you shove an enemy into your guys will still take damage. So that's kind of what I'm trying to avoid. So there, I figured out a way to sort of dislodge him once again. And we've got this guy to deal with, but thankfully I can just punch him and shoot a piece of cake.
The puncher guy just punches. Got it.
Yeah, pretty straightforward. The puncher guy is very useful.
There was an alien that just came up from the underground.
Yeah, that mantis looking dude.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, he'll jump around. They have very little health, but they are able to like leap over your enemies or over your friendly guys, your mechs. So they're kind of tricky in that fashion. Once again, I'm trying to protect these buildings, so I'm going to shove the volatile dude away. So he just attacks that mountain. So we get a little bit of mountain damage, but that's okay. And now I'm using some of my mechs to block incoming Vec. So the next turn, ordinarily we'd have 2 new enemies to deal with, but in this case, because I'm standing on them, I've blocked them. Now, you do take damage for doing that, but
better to take damage than get more enemies on the battlefield?
Well, it's fine. I mean, the damage that you take actually repairs at the end of each map. So if you survive the map, it doesn't really matter. The buildings, on the other hand, that damage carries over from map to map. So it's important to keep your guys alive or as long as you can, but obviously, if you can spare it, you can take a little bit of extra health. So we made it through. No buildings damaged, no mechs damaged, piece of cake. We got the objective, the bonus objective done, as well as the other objective. which gave us a little more shield power. You can see the power grid has gone up 1 slot because we completed all the objectives. So, moving on to the next map here, we've got a new kind of Vec. These guys are called Scions, and they give passive abilities as long as they're alive. So while they won't attack you, they'll give other enemies a little bit of a passive boost. In this case, I kind of forget, what does this guy do? I think I'm going to look. Well, actually, it's not going to matter because I'm just going to kill him straight out. Generally, that's a good rule of thumb. If you leave them alive, every enemy that shows up is going to have that boost, and you do not want that. So, very good idea to take them out as soon as possible. Here, I'm just dealing with this fellow with kind of straight up damage. And as you progress, you'll unlock like new mech teams, and each of them kind of have different strategies. Some of them are more about positioning. This one's more about dealing damage, but you do have several guys that will do some repositioning as well. In this case, I'm going to punch this fly into the mountain and kill him straight out. You'll note it has lit that forest on fire, so if any enemies or friendlies land on that forest, they will take damage. But only if they end the turn there. So that's something to keep in mind, is making sure you are kind of fast on your feet and keeping an eye of dangerous squares. I think I'm going to... Well, he's going to be dead. But if he wasn't dead, again, he would be shoved into the fire horrendously.
Right.
Now, if we were playing on a higher difficulty, we'd be seeing many more units to the point where you really do have to start making priority decisions. I don't know why I did that. Actually, I do, because I wanted to show off the reset. Am I going to show up the reset turn functionality? You can reset your turn once per map. That was just me clicking the wrong positioning. I guess for this map, I was so far ahead, so it didn't really matter. But I have been known to screw up massively very late in game, and one turn can totally devastate a run, so it's good to have that reset map option at least once. It'll just go back to your last turn, so if you did something particularly stupid, you can go ahead and do that. Movement, you can reset, before you engage. You can see undo move sort of appears. Yeah. But, if you attack, you're pretty much locked into where you are. All right, so we blew through that map as well. Again, easy is pretty manageable, but it's kind of helpful because... if you are just learning the game, you will not feel as overwhelmed playing easy. I think it's a better way to sort of learn the mechanics. And then once you feel very good with easy, you can dial your way up to normal, which gets very difficult very quickly. Kind of similar to FTL was like that as well. Mm-hmm. Okay, so we have a new element here. We have these pods, and the pods are very important. All you have to do is kind of stop on that spot to pick up a pod, and you'll see what you get at the end. At this point, I rescued it. There you go. And at the end of this map, since I rescued it, we get kind of a bonus to take care of, which is really handy. So here we have a side objective, which is to protect the train. And you can see the train there. It has that arrow, which indicates where it's going to move on the next turn. So if I were to, say, park the tank 1 slot over, the train would run into it, and that would be bad. We do not like that. The train only has 1 health, so you really do need to protect it. And the enemies really like messing with it. So you need to be very smart about how you deal with them. In this case, we've got a stupid grasshopper gentleman that has my puncher dude. And so I'm just figuring out a way to deal damage to these guys without having to worry about the train taking damage.
Right.
Unfortunately, this tank, you can see, can't really move without kind of getting in the way of stuff. I also can't attack him and deal with him in any way because he's got 2 health, so that's only going to do 1 health. And I can't push them because they'll get pushed into the train and kill it. So I'm trying to figure out a way to just kind of shove these guys. And it might be as simple as punch them. Just punch into the water. It's not always the best mentality, but you know what? Sometimes the most simple mentality is the best one. This early squad is really about dealing damage as quickly as possible. So, and the punching guy is the best at doing that because he deals 2 damage right from the jump. But now I'm trying to figure out a way. I don't know that I can shove this guy, so I'm just going to end turn, and the grasshopper is going to deal damage to me, but I've got that shield. The shield is granted by, you can see the pilots on the left there. That unique pilot that I'm using starts each map with a shield, which is really cool. And it kind of gives you a little bit of padding if you don't want to take damage. Now that he's worried about those buildings, I'm going to go ahead and punch him. And I'm going to... I can't attack there because he would shove my tank into the train, which would be bad. So I'm just going to shove him over. I can use my artillery to do some damage, but he'll only do 1 damage. So I'm just going to shove him once. Oh, wait. Look what I've done. I've shoved him right into the building. So I'm going to show off reset turn now. And it's gonna start our turn over again. It's only once per battle. There's no shame in using it. It's designed just for this stupid situation.
Right.
So I'm gonna punch him, do 2 damage, and then 1 damage there. And now I'm gonna use my artillery guy, 1 damage, and that's toast. And we've cleared the map once again. No damage whatsoever.
Go train.
It will once I end the turn. If I think to end the turn, I will end the turn. I believe in myself that I'm going to end it, and I will.
Do it. Yes.
There we go.
Wait, no.
No,
Yes.
it's over.
No.
All good. How are you taking this in, Dave? Any questions so far?
Not particularly. Like you wrote, a beginner's guide that was all about like positioning.
Oh, wait. I want to talk about the pod. Sorry,
No.
real quick. This is in the beginner's guide, but we got a pod. We got a new pilot that we're going to use in a second, as well as a reactor core, which unlocks some functionality on these mechs, both of which are in the beginner's guide. But we're going to show that off right now. So this guy has armored. He spawns with this perk called armored, which basically reduces weapon damage by 1. So if somebody does 1 weapon damage, you won't take any damage, which is really cool. So here we're going to pop on into the next map. Sorry, Dave, I interrupted you. You didn't have any questions because my starter guide was just so great.
Yeah, I'm furious that I know too much, really.
Yes.
No,
indeed.
I was going to say that you said it's all about positioning, right?
It really is.
Basically, you started with that. And watching you, it makes even more sense than reading it. Because, like when you reset that last time around, it's like, well, that created a positioning that we don't want.
Yeah, and
so
we're gonna
back up.
We're gonna run into some positioning issues on this map as well, quite a few. So that the bonus objective in this case is to destroy the dam, which you can see on the upper right there. Mm-hmm. And the dam only has 2 health. It's very easy to destroy, but once I destroy it, I'm just showing off the perks on this guy. Once I destroy it, it's going to create some complexity. And you can see the police are after us because because
they heard you're too good. And they're like, we got to take them down.
The tips are too good. They're so good they're illegal. So the cops have come after us.
What happens after you shoot down a dam that's full of water?
That's a very good question. I think we might be able to see it in a very short amount of time. Yeah. So we're going to punch that guy, and we're going to use the tank to fire the dam. And look at that. We now have a lake. Now, water... the Vec, the alien gentleman, do not like water. You can see his armored perk cost him to take no damage there. They do not like water. The mechs don't particularly like water, but they don't hate it as much as the aliens do, which is to say you cannot attack if you're in water, but you won't take damage. So there are a few flying units that can attack and won't take damage in water, but for the most part, that's the thing to keep in mind. So here I got to move my prime unit out, and I'm going to punch him and kind of knock him into that other bug gentleman. And now
you're so polite to the evil alien.
You know what? He works hard. He does his job. I've got my job. So I respect them.
That's super nice of you.
So this is a tricky little situation because I want to move this guy out of range of my buildings, but there's also this other guy that is looking to attack some of my buildings. So I'm kind of deciding how to go about this. And it's made even trickier because the artillery guy can't fire in water, and to shove that guy on the top into the water, he would need to fire in water, which he can't. So I'm going to use my What am I don't even remember what I do here. So I'm gonna move my tank over here, and I'm gonna shove, if I decide to actually do it,
that guy in the water.
Yeah, I'm gonna shove that guy in the water.
Nailed it.
Once I come to that realization that that's what I want to do. Maybe that's not what I do. Who knows?
Whoa. Maybe it's next time.
This was, I was trying to do like a perfect run here. So I went through like a lot of stages of mental grief. Anguish. So here I'm going to shove him over. So now he's not attacking the buildings anymore. And now I'm going to move my tank over and attack that gentleman right into the water.
Got it.
So now he's going to harmlessly attack the wall. And we are free to move to our next stage, which is we're just adding one more guy. On normal, they probably would have added 2 or 3 guys at that turn. So it gets really hairy, and you really do need to watch what you're doing. Still kind of struggling with this lake because it does limit my options somewhat. But again, because we're only dealing with 2 guys, it's not too bad. Old Punchy is thinking about giving him a punch, but no, I think I'm going to pull him back and maybe block one of these incoming guys.
So take the damage instead of the...
Yeah, because he's got the shield. He's also got a ton of health just by default.
And you'll get it back at the end of the round.
And I'll get that health and the shield back at the end of the round, so it doesn't really matter. So I'm going to shove him, and now I can do some artillery damage to kill that guy, and he, the other guy gets shoved into a harmless position. So we've really just got the 2 guys to worry about now. This gentleman that just fired into the whatever, and a Scion who we want to obviously take out. But again, because it's only 2 guys, very easy. I can't say this enough, but on normal difficulty, oh, this guy, I'm seeing his perk. Oh yeah, he causes Vec to explode. So I think we'll see it here, maybe. No, I actually kill him before that happens. No, maybe not. No, I don't. Yeah, so he would cause anyone to explode. So if there was a bunch of guys running around, that would be real bad. But in this case, it was just one guy, so not a problem. But it gets so overwhelming once you dial up the difficulty.
Right. Yeah, it's a really good explanation of why you should play it on easy, just to understand the game.
Yeah, I like similar to FTL, which was also really overwhelming. There's no reason to put yourself through that hell of like learning the game and having the game constantly kind of just throw a ton of guys at you. Just take it easy at first, and then once you're a master, dial it up. I think they designed it really smartly in that way. We are on the final map of this island. Islands are there's 4 islands and then a final island, and there's some randomness to them and stuff like that. But in this case, our objective is to kill the Scion abomination. There's like a boss enemy that has like a bunch more health than normal, as well as protect the tower. And you can see the kind of scarab looking guy is attacking the tower right now, so I gotta get him out of the way. Let's see what we got. So just thinking through this, so the punching guy is can do 2 damage to the Scion, which he has 5, so that's not going to be anywhere near enough. So we might have to survive this turn with the Scion being alive, which means he is still imparting his perks to the other folks. So we're going to do a little bit of damage to him and kind of whittle him down so he doesn't create a larger problem for us later on. Let's see. I'm going to move my tank in.
So and see,
I could shove him over. The problem here is I could shove him over, but I would shove him over into the other building. So I'm actually gonna. I might reset this turn. Actually, yeah, I'm gonna reset this turn because he's still attacking the corporate tower, which I don't want to have happen. So we're gonna reset. And we're out of resets for this map, but we're gonna do things perfectly this time, so it's not gonna matter.
Good. That's the way to do it.
It's all gonna go great. So I'm gonna move my punching guy down here, maybe
or not. Tank.
I'm being very thoughtful here. This is for you, Dave. I was worried that I would disappoint you. So I've shoved him over.
Never.
He's still attacking that building, and now I'm moving punching guy.
You can punch guy over here, so now he's not attacking that thing. Also, he's dead.
completely dead. And the Scion's still alive, so we still have to deal with him.
He can't buff anything at this point.
He can't buff anything. He's going to buff the guy that comes in next. But we did a little damage to him, so at least he's slightly whittled down. So
oh, good, he can jump. Super.
Oh, yeah, he can. Well, he's a flyer, so he can basically go wherever he likes. So he's chilling there. We have a scarab that's attacking more buildings that we want to deal with. I'm thinking about it. Maybe.
So you're thinking scarab or scion?
Yeah.
This is the calculation.
Well, the scion we still can't kill in this turn, and I really do need to deal with the scarab before he deals damage on the buildings. So I'm just thinking of like what I can do to. So I shoved him over, and now I can punch the scarab to deal 2 more damage. And I'm gonna shove over this. I'm gonna block the incoming. No, I'm gonna use him to block the incoming guy, which is really cool because he takes damage from doing that.
Yeah.
And he also attacked his friend, the Scion. It was that move in particular I feel really proud about.
I'm glad we got it on video.
I forgot that it was gonna happen, but the second that it happened, it all came flooding back. The Scion is up there and only has 1 health left, so I can just finish him off right there. We've leveled up one of our pilots, and I can move my punching dude down here to, let's see. Do I want to finish him off like this? Yeah, I do. I could have finished him off from the other side, but it would have punched him into the buildings, which again, we do not want. And now we've just got the 2 guys remaining for what I believe is the final round in this island. Shouldn't be too hard. This guy only has 1 health. We're gonna shove the insect gentleman out of the way. We're gonna get loose of the mantis gentleman, and we're gonna move our tank in for the kill. And am I gonna finish this last guy off? I don't think I have enough damage to finish him off, but that's okay. We're gonna let him live. I'm a peaceful mech commander.
Well, he's a gentleman. So.
I am. Yeah, that's true. We spread the love here. So he's gonna escape, and we've finished the final map of that island.
Ta-da!
Now we got a bunch of reputation. Those stars are essentially reputation. We unlocked a new perk for my pilot, and they're telling us perfect island. And because we had a perfect island, we get 1 free reward. Here's a weapon we could take, or there's also a pilot that we can take, as well as some extra defense for our power grid, our health generated by the buildings. I think I'm going to go with the pilot.
And you would take that to the next island.
And, yeah, that carries over.
Not into the next game.
Correct. Yeah. So that's going to carry over. So once I select him, which I think I'm going to do, thinking about it, maybe. Yeah, I'm going to go with him.
There it is.
We can spend some reputation. So this is essentially a store that unlocks when you beat an island. You can sell people you don't need. For example, this generic guy that I didn't need. We're also going to unequip the other generic guy and replace him with that.
The named guy.
The named guy. We're going to sell him. We're going to donate. You assign them back. We don't sell them. We assign them back.
I imagine they didn't use that for a reason.
Yes, exactly. And so here you can buy weapons if you want to. You can buy, different perks for your mechs. Some of which require power, some don't. That's kind of a cute little thing there. We've got
any early favorites?
Generally, especially early on, I like to actually just focus on buying extra reactor cores. Some of them are okay, but they're kind of expert techniques. Here, these reactor cores are really super helpful. I'm just gonna, do I end up buying that or no? I'm gonna probably just, I've got 3 to spend.
Who's to say? We're watching this for the first time.
I know. I think I'm gonna buy another reactor core, and I'm gonna show you why they're useful. Yeah. So we've spent all our reputation, and here we can do things like add new perks, like increase the damage, for example. So we've got 4 reactor cores. I'm gonna install 2 of them here, and now my tank will do 2 damage instead of 1, which is really helpful.
Yeah.
And now maybe I'll look to upgrade another person.
The puncher.
No, I don't think the puncher's ready yet.
Not so much.
We're gonna upgrade the
cannon.
artillery mech and maybe give him this ability so that he
just
can.
the one.
Yeah, I've got 2 here. I've got
two to spend.
2 to spend.
Oh, it's up on the top where it says 2.
Yeah,
I worked it out.
So actually, I think I might increase his the tank's move as well. Maybe artillery.
Let's see what you did.
I know. Oh,
1,
I
2.
get right artillery and got buildings immune, so the buildings won't take damage when I use the artillery, as well as new moves. And that's the island, and that's the end of the footage. Thank you for joining me, Dave.
You're welcome. Thank you for playing this and finding out what you did again.
Goodbye.